And meanwhile, we also have with us Sanjeev Srivastava, international affairs expert, joining us on the telecast. Sanjeev Srivastava, in terms of this demand by Donald Trump about asking all these weapons that have been left by United States when during the Biden administration, that they took this huge step of leaving Afghanistan, and all these weapons are left. If you can see on your screens also, these are all the weapons, all the artilleries, all the aircrafts, everything, the truck, the security vehicles, the armored vehicles, all of them have been left by United States. And now Donald Trump has been making this request for quite some time that he wants this back, and it's sort of something that angers him that still Taliban is using them and showcasing them in a parade. So what do you think that Trump's return means for Afghanistan now?
Well, Rita, I think Donald Trump's demand has been already rejected by Taliban. They are arguing that they need more such weapons to fight against Islamic State Khorasan. And at this present moment, the Taliban government in Afghanistan, their main focus is to bring about more and more stability in their government, which they have got after a very, very long time, after 20 years. And they are not indulging into any terrorist activities at this point of time, though they have been sheltering. We have seen that Ayman al-Zawahiri was found in Kabul, and American airstrike killed him. But other than that, other than sheltering some terrorists, they are not indulging into any kind of terrorist activities. Rather, they are arguing that they are fighting against terrorism, which are being, and that kind of a threat which are coming from Islamic State Khorasan. And you know, the Islamic State Khorasan in Afghanistan and Taliban, they are having a very intense competition. ISK wants to rule Afghanistan and they want to overthrow Taliban government. So Taliban government is arguing that they need these kind of weapons more and more in quantity so that they can successfully fight against this terrorist organization ISISK. And another point which the Taliban regime is asking for, that they have about 9 billion worth of foreign exchange reserves which are frozen in the United States of America. So Taliban regime wants to get access of those funds which they could use for their own purposes, for their own governance system, etc. But certainly United States of America is not going to give that frozen money to them, because Taliban had promised that when they come up and when they assume power, they will do work to improve the condition of women in Afghanistan. They will give fair treatment to the various ethnic minorities in Afghanistan, which they have not kept that promise. And that is why Taliban regime is still not recognized by any single country of the world. Though some countries, they have accepted their ambassadors, and like China, Russia, Pakistan, but no country has recognized this Taliban regime, because Taliban has not kept its promises. But as far as these weapons are concerned, which are about 7 billion worth of weapons, and obviously Biden administration has had a very bad kind of a withdrawal, maybe the worst withdrawal ever, which was done by any military in the world. And they have left 7 billion worth of weapons, and as you are showing in your visuals, that Humvees, high mobility military vehicles, aircraft, choppers, and rifles, and M4 advanced carbines. So this kind of very sophisticated weapons which the US military left behind, which is worst kind of a withdrawal any military can do from anywhere. So Trump is very right in criticizing that this kind of a withdrawal was not good at all for American interest, and he wants those weapons back. But I do not think that Trump regime and the Trump government is going to get back that regime unless they decide to attack on Afghanistan and retrieve those weapons, which they are not going to do, obviously. So I think this kind of a demand Trump is making, but I do not think that Taliban is going to return those weapons to United States of America.
Sanjeev Srivastava, as you also said that there's no possibility that you see or that Taliban would be returning that, because Taliban has also warned that they will be using all these weapons for any kind of invasion if they are asked back, and that these military weapons left behind by the United States in Afghanistan now belong to them as spoils of war, and they will be utilized to defend against any attempts to reclaim them. But when we're talking about and in what condition this happened, US military left really in a haste. They left Afghanistan in a haste when Taliban invasion was about to start. The Biden administration took that step in a haste, and now that has led to these weapons being abandoned there. But when we're talking about Trump's initiative that we have been seeing, he's been passing orders, executive orders, signing them up. Do you think there's a possibility, if these weapons are not returned, there will be a much harsher step that will be taken by Donald Trump?
Well, I just said that if Trump administration wants those weapons back, then one option is there that they could strike a deal with Taliban. And as I said, that about $9 billion worth of assets are frozen, which are belonging to the Afghan government in United States of America. And if those frozen, sums Taliban wants to get back, and if they strike a deal that they will return some of those weapons in exchange of those foreign exchange reserves, then that is one possibility. But another possibility, which is no possibility in my assessment, is that to get that weapon, United States of America will have to strike against Taliban. They will have to wage a war against Afghanistan, which Donald Trump would not like to do. And they can retrieve those weapons. I am sure that United States of America has capability and resources to retrieve those weapons. But for that, they will have to fight a war with Taliban, which I do not think that United States of America will like to engage into any such kind of operation. Some weapons could be retrieved through special operations, such as choppers, but there is a huge number of Humvees, rifles, advanced weaponry, which are scattered all around places. Taliban must have hidden those weapons into various places all across Afghanistan, and it is very difficult to retrieve all of those weapons back. But some of the weapons could be brought back, and for that some special operations are required. But so in my assessment, Ria, only option, the best viable option in this regard is that United States of America offers Taliban some of those, frozen assets which are there in the United States of America to take those weapons back. And if Taliban agrees, then that is one possibility, and that too a remote possibility, because Taliban is saying, and one very important point I would like to make at the last of it, that Taliban at this point of time is not engaging into any kind of a terrorist activities. Whatever operations they are doing, they are trying to defeat Islamic State Khorasan, which is obviously a terrorist organization. Taliban has been also a terrorist organization, but at this point of time, Taliban's main focus is to provide stability to their regime. They want recognition. They want support of international community, and they are that's why urging with the United States of America too, that they want to engage into a dialogue and negotiations to get those $9 billion worth of money which is there in the U.S. reserves. So I think at this point of time, Taliban is not hostile to United States of America. They are not hostile to any other country in form of terrorism. So I do not think that if any kind of operations are done against Taliban at this point of time, it will get some wider support from international community too. So I think at this point of time, United States of America will have to talk to Taliban, will have to try to strike a deal with them, and that is President Trump is known for such deals, as he said that he is a deal maker, etc. So why doesn't he offer something to Taliban and strike a deal with them, so that they could get at least some of the sophisticated weapons like choppers and some advanced weaponry, Humvees, etc. So I think this kind of possibilities are only there. I do not think that attacking Taliban at this point of time to retrieve those weapons is a safe option, is any good option.
All right, Sanjeev Srivastava, thank you so much for joining us on the telecast and sharing those insights. Meanwhile, Lok Sabha leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi has